Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, where your body is. I won't say where you are, that's not you. I've gone way back in my journals again. Well, I say way back to summer of '09. And it's wet hair day again. Sorry about that. It is what it is. Deal. um, and this might be, I don't know, it might be the most special journal ever written by or through me. And so I want to share it with you. Now, this is from 7/4 of 2009, and the Mayan day was 12 Jaguar, and that's a pretty powerful combination in itself. I added that, though. I didn't know that at the time. I wasn't recording those things yet. It's called Make Each Moment a Chapel Shift into Clarity. And I'll probably have some things to say in the midst of it. So, but the written journal will still be available unscribed. There flows a love so tangible through my being that I am deeply moved and take up the keyboard to see what shall come. In its power, it overflows right through these fingers. It has been a special day for me, personally. Yesterday I saw and was surprised to see so clearly how the one calling itself Ker-On from Venus in the Galactic Federation of Light channelings through Mike Quinsey was not truthful. His July 3rd posting impressed me as pathetic, disjointed, and not at all from a being of sufficient light, as he claimed. As per a previous journal entry, I satisfied myself that this intuition is likely accurate. It leaves me still surprised, though, for I followed this channeler. Today, still, deep within, I am digesting it and its implications. They go deep. I offer humble gratitude for the God vision that enabled me to see so clearly something was wrong with that posting. So that is going on within. Then, in desiring a friend I'll call Lady A to do some kinesiology on that same posting with me so that we could compare notes, I had a lovely conversation with her earlier. With so much going on in her life right now, it is no time for her to give attention to something so peripheral. So be it. She helped me, though, sift and sort through some feelings and sensings riding near to the surface. Then, I'll mention something. Parenthetically, I said, I seem rather more emotionally accessible since the karma cleansing of June 28th. And we'll just leave that alone for now. Then, in addition to that, working its way around deep in there somewhere is the recent direct communions with the Syrian High Council. The 2 times they spoke with me quite clearly yesterday. That is enough of a high on its own to simply experience that. So there is that aspect of it. Then there is also something they shared with me. When they asked me what I would like to know from them, I replied, to learn that which is the most immediate impediment to my path Godward. They shared with me that I was blocking my own perception of light. At one point during our communication, I was even blocking them, their communication, they said. I was so surprised by this, and not pleasantly. So they shared with me a bit more along these lines, how I definitely could see light all around if I chose to, but how I have been allowing outer mind to trick me and play its games, and how I have not been alert to detect this happening. So, as one could imagine, this too is rumbling around in there, deep inside, as inner being works through it, works on it. So, enter Skype conversation with Lady A this morning. I shared with her both the current emotional state and the communications with the Syrian High Council, which of course I had transcribed. I was so pleased by it and with it, and so happy to share it with her too. We are close. Part of my reason for sharing it with her was because I was asking her help in working through my emotions, a particular talent of hers. Since that communication bore a direct impact on the emotions, and since what the Syrian High Council said about that impediment is so important to me, for purposes of mastering and transcending it, I copied the text of that conversation into Skype for her. Now, I want to take some moments here to record how I was feeling. It was somewhat different than I recall ever feeling before, or ever consciously feeling. During the conversation or chat with Lady A, there were a couple or more times when I had tears in my eyes. I would call them tears of sincerity, of intensity of sincerity towards God or Source. I was experiencing such a strong pull toward God, such powerful yearning to unite with Him, her, it, that the strength of it moistened my eyes. I was also feeling blocked in some way. The feeling was intense, desiring to know what I know, to reconnect with my intent and divine plan in coming here in this life. I view getting my full 12 strands of DNA reconnected and functional again as that which will totally reconnect me in this way. Heck, I'd settle in happily for 3 strands right now. I know that every improvement towards full DNA reactivation will move me in the desired direction. The desire is to be useful to Source and to life, to man, Gaia, animal life, just all life. I sense that I have a powerful divine purpose, one greatly useful to a great many people, and I want so much to just get on with it. I mentioned feeling like I'm just spinning my wheels or something like that, biding time, not being fully useful at all. Lady A helped me track this, helped me get it out there and recognize it, state it. She helped me realize I was feeling not so much alone as not connected. I realized that I wanted to plug in, to reconnect with my self, higher self, to know what I know and get on with it, with being useful, doing what I came to do, being what I came to be. Now here's a snippet from our conversation where I really captured that feeling. Quote, "Just so one-pointed over getting tight with God, can't seem to drag self away to do anything else." Close quote. That clearly sums it up, nails it. One-pointed over getting tight with God. Absolutely all I want to do is sit under my vine and fig tree and meditate, pray, commune, do spiritual studies, etc. I don't want to do anything else. Nothing. Thus, laundry, dishes, paying bills, even grocery shopping, dusting, heck, even bathing. I just don't want to be bothered with anything else. Seldom in this life have I come to such a point of clarity of understanding about myself at any one point in time. This was so clear, so obvious, and so accurately spoken or understood. The clarity itself was a huge blessing. And as you can imagine, it was no easy thing. Even just getting to this point of acceptance of myself in this sit-down strike mode without any interior self-criticism going on for what I was not doing, etc. Lady A continued to help me clarify myself, to see myself, and to see how to move the blockage. She suggested it was time to chop wood and carry water, that is, do some physical movement, chores, labor, whatever I could physically do. It was necessary for balance. She saw that I had accumulated so much spiritual knowledge, information, light, understanding, and so on, but that it was blocked from anchoring itself due to simple imbalance. She reminded me I have a body, in other words, and that I need to see to it, and to my physical environs too, not just the spiritual self. Thus, chop wood, carry water. When she said it, I knew right away she was so right. That was exactly what was needed. I just hadn't seen it. She sensed energy blockage in my environment too, asking if I'd changed the bed linens since the karma cleansing, which I had not. Bright and shiny clean for that day they were, but had been putting it off since then, doing the laundry, etc. She sensed the trapped, stuck energy in this sort of thing. I so agreed. But here is the big deal, the aha that came from this. I realized that which was missing from the chores. The reason I was not pulled to do any of them was the spiritual aspect. I had not brought myself, capital S, into them. I was seeing them as separate from the spiritual stuff. What clicked for me so clearly was that I could indeed deeply involve myself in and enjoy these chores now that I knew the secret. The secret that revealed itself to me. And parenthetically, I say, all right, which of you guides, or no, is it you, dear Syrian High Council, who showed me this, isn't it? All right. The secret that revealed itself to me is that each chore, each and every small motion or moment could be offered with the same spiritual intensity as gift to Source or God, as plea for deeper union with that one. It is a matter of where am I when I am doing the chores? Am I present with and in what I am doing? Source is everywhere present, every when present, meaning in each and every nanosecond. I can choose then to be with Source there too by choosing to simply perceive God there. I can offer each motion of the hand involved in each chore, each footstep itself as divine offering, much like I offer myself in my devotions here in my bedroom. I don't leave this bed all day except by necessity. I make it up in the morning and then sit on it, ensconced in my little palace of down pillows and coziness, devotional books, phone, and medications on one side, computer, water jug, odds and ends on the other, journaling paper and pencil close by, along with 4, 5, or 6 different colored highlighters to help me plumb the depths of my reading material. I am well established here. And well, I should be. I have lived like this for several years now. I have truly gone on a sort of sit-down strike on life, plopping myself down under my bow tree and telling God I won't be getting up until I find him, her, it, well, something roughly equivalent. I have been thus, and somehow quite unable to look after worldly affairs of life unless terribly necessary for all of this time. Nothing, but nothing calls me away from my one-pointed devotion and pursuit of union with God. I can't tell you the number of times the electric people knocked on the door before turning it off to say, "Hey lady, would you like to write a check?" Not kidding. Until I got my bills automated out of my bank accounts, I was late with stuff just all the time. I just couldn't care less. Don't open the mail. I might go get the mail once a month. I just don't care, you know. Okay, so long ago, I gave up trying to force myself to do what I should. There was no way I could get me to listen to me on this topic. It just wasn't happening, period. And I really worked at it too. I tried long and hard to force the self into compliance with all the typical shoulds of the internal dialogue. Not happening. Thus, this is more than great, this new understanding that also came with such clarity this morning. It was offering me a way out of this conundrum, this let the whole house come crumbling down, I don't care mode of being. Now, for the first time, I could see the practical application of the sacredness of being in the now, of bringing to the now that same devotion that I brought to my devotions. By becoming intensely aware of God, of Source, at every step, by directly, devotionally relating to and with Source in each step and movement, I could expand up out from the narrow confines of my bed/chapel. It is not that I would devote each step to God. No, this is too indirect. Rather, each step would be part of a direct interchange with God. The step would become a part of the conversation, as it were. Be in heart. This is to make each moment a chapel. And incarnate it by so occupying it, the moment, in full and intense God awareness, in the sense of being in the presence of God, that my devotion would not be broken or disturbed by whatever the body was doing. Thus, putting wet clothes into the dryer could be as sacred an act as lighting incense to purify the air for communion with the divine. Wow, this is amazing. This is my first direct experience with what I would call clarity in this lifetime. It is mentioned repeatedly, or at least a number of times, in the MVS work. Now, I've forgotten who that is. It's the Allies of Humanity stuff. Steps to Knowledge speaks of clarity in that book. It is intense and amazing. It is not that I have not thought clearly before. It is that this clarity is all of that and something more. It is the touch of the divine. It is touched by the divine. So, this is new to me. So I will add it and let it rumble around in there with the other couple of items, also new, that I mentioned above, that have been occupying sacred space within me. I feel blessed. I am blessed. These are sacred fruits, spiritual fruits. I am grateful and humble and awed in their presence. Oh God, you are so magnificent. Hear, O universe, I am grateful. Shine like a sun when you say that. Okay, now a little footnote or two. I put down 4:40 p.m. It's unusual. I started at 3:15, didn't finish until 4:40. It's unusual for something to take so long. So it says, took quite a while. This is deep. It is wonderful to see spirit in action this way, to see life being birthed within me like this. Close paren. Wow. Thank you, God. Thank you, Syrian High Council. Thank you, guides and angels, and all who help. And then I have a little footnote that some of you might find interesting. And it's this. This is written in the time before I discovered the false sense of the work of the Allies of Humanity. So, at this time, I was pursuing two false teachings. And this is meant to show you that you can't do anything wrong. That what you do and where you go, the steps you take, are steps of light. They're guiding you. As long as you're following your heart, you're going to be fine. And if you're pursuing a teaching that you later find out is a false teaching, celebrate the fact that you found out and go on. And, you know, I celebrate the fact that I studied it as well. I celebrate every step. Everything is sacred. And we're being birthed into light all the way. Thank you. Good day.